Welcome to the Loveland Report Loan Ranger Show. I am Cleve, Loveland, Central Florida's voice of real estate, alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Loan Ranger. And we're going to talk today, bring you all your mortgage and real estate news. I appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to talk about real estate experts. How do you identify one? How do you find out when it's time to get up and run out of the room?
You go to cleveloveland.com.
That's the expert. We'll talk about how to watch out for the supposed gurus that might be a ripoff. Prices are still rising around the country. How long should it take to sell your home? Very interesting question. We're going to dive into that.
Well, that depends on a lot of factors.
It does. What do you got going on?
I want to talk about interest rates because we've seen some improvement. So we're going to hit interest rates. What's the trend? Who's buying? Who's refinancing right now? So I want to cover a lot of those things. So there's a lot of trends happening in the market right now. There's still a little apprehension for people to get in the market that are first-time home buyers, and it's because of affordability. I mean, affordability is the number one factor, Cleve, to keep people out of buying a home. But when you look at it right now, the opportunities are so immense. And you and I have seen this even personally on a couple of transactions that we're working on presently right now, where we've gotten more closing costs paid for a buyer than would be typical. Would you agree with that? Yeah. We normally wouldn't be able to get 6% toward closing costs. Yeah. I mean, that's a stretch, but we did.
There's choice. And it's funny because if buyers have waited, if the buyer say they got the down payment, they are pre-approved, they're good to 450. If they've waited, this is what's different about the market. If they've waited, some of those homes at 449.9 got reduced, or some new ones popped up at 447.9.
Sure.
And what happened from 3 years ago, the difference was, hey, you're not seeing what you look at, like you're not seeing what you like at 450. Talk to Bruce, see if you pay off that car, if we can go up to 480.
Right.
And that way we're also going to have to we had fighting multiple offers. You're not doing that now. So now is a great time because around the country, prices are still rising. It's funny. The big headline is they're rising at a slower pace, not they're falling, not they're plummeting.
Right.
It just cracks me up with these people. But around the country, we've still got inflation in the prices slightly. So I think no matter where you're at, you can probably count on your house making you 2 or 3% a year.
Well, it's funny you say that because when I'm looking at a client that says, I want to buy a $450,000 house, and I'm looking at them, I go, okay, you qualify for $450,000. Okay. Now I give them a pre-approval letter for 450. It doesn't mean they didn't qualify for 500. They didn't want 500. Yeah. Sometimes they may not want the realtor. They think the realtor is going to try to upsell them if I give them a pre-approval letter for 500.
I've gotten some clients that way.
Well, and it can happen. But the fact of the matter is that the difference on 450 and 500 is about $300 a month in payment, right? Yeah. That's about you're $50,000. You're about $300 a month in payment. But you are right. If you paid off that $500 a month car payment, instead of putting 20% down, you now put 10% down, you may be ahead of the game. It's the same on a refinance. I look at refinances. The number one problem that people have when they call me to refinance, no one's calling to do it. Oh, I want to do a refinance. All they do is they call me and go, I want to do a home equity line of credit so I can consolidate debt. Well, by the time I do the home equity line of credit, your payments are even as much or more than they were before. But if I can consolidate that 3% rate into one new mortgage, but people are so resistant to that, Cleve, because they don't want to get rid of that low rate. And I get it, but you have to look at the end result.
The key is talking to you and seeing where they stand, get a plan.
Absolutely.
Because they shouldn't possibly pay off that car. Because if it's less than 6 months, do they need to?
No, they don't.
So stuff like that.
They don't. But you take Judith that I closed recently, 3.5% fixed rate, $1,500 payment. Okay, that's all she paid, $1,500. But she had almost $1,200 in car payments, and she had a $1,500 in other debt, and then she needed $25,000 to fix the house up. Altogether, if I gave her the $25,000 on a HELOC, she was paying $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
She didn't want to get rid of the 3.5. I finally convinced her it was better. Let's just look at the numbers. Yeah. I was able to do one new loan, give her the 25. Now she's got no car payments, no credit cards, one payment, $2,500. So it went up $1,000, but I saved her $2,500 a month.
And if she applies that to principal.
Yes. Well, first thing she said is she goes, I know, Bruce, but I hate putting my cars in there for 30 years. I said, throw the $2,500 I saved you at your mortgage. And now you have no house payment in 8.3 years.
Yeah.
And then she said, I know, but I like the $2,500 savings. I said, how about saving $500 a month, throw $2,000 extra at your mortgage, and now it's paid off in 10 years. That's how you do it.
Well, that's a plan.
That's
You'll
a
help them
plan.
Do that. So they go, where do they go? We bring you
407-250-9144 for my phone number. That's a direct line, 407-250-9144, or webringyouhome.com. We like taking applications in person. In Zoom, we're on the phone. You don't have to do an online application, but if you find it easier, it's very simple. 10 minutes, you can complete that application. webringyouhome.com. Cleve, how can they reach you, my friend?
All right, Loveland Properties, you need to buy, sell, or you need your properties managed, 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com. Bruce, I got this article here from realtor.com about the 5 signs your real estate guru might be a ripoff. And I'm going to whip through these real quick. First of all, they flaunt a celebrity connection.
Oh,
They've
boy.
got Derek Jeter sitting there with them. They promise you'll get rich quick, which doesn't happen.
Nope.
They can't pass a basic background check. There's no money back guarantee, and they're focused on the upsell. So the seminar is free. And it's funny, back in 2020, 21, 22, 23, I heard these all the time. I've only heard one lately, and I don't have the time. I'd love to go sit in the audience and be that fly on the wall and just kind of throw out some goofy questions to them, like, hey, what was your tax return last year? Show me how much you actually made. How many properties do you own? That kind of thing. But you shouldn't have to pay for real estate coaching.
No.
Somebody Bruce and I'll tell you for free.
We will coach you for free. We do it every day.
Yeah, at our Leapfrog seminar. We'll teach people how to buy property. Flipping is very hard. I'm flipping one right now, Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'll go into something. When I get done, I'll do the whole budget. I've already had $5,000 in surprise.
Sure,
that's cutting into my profit. But at a certain point, if I don't make what I want to make, I will rent that. I've got a fallback.
Sure.
I can't tell you how many listings I've gotten because somebody went to a real estate seminar, was paid $2,000 for the weekend for the upgraded seminar, and then was paying $2,000 a month for coaching. And then also, by the way, we'll loan you the money at 12%. They're the hard money brokers.
Yes.
Too. And so you got to watch out for these things.
A lot of these companies that are promoting this are actually the ones that are going to make the money because they're the ones that are going to give you the 100% loan to value, provided they look at the property that you found and you're getting it for 60 cents on the dollar. Right. But how often does that happen? You and I look at the market every day. It's so few and far between. And you know what? I know what people want. They're looking for that magic bullet. They're looking for, how can I just supplement my income? How can we make an extra 50, 100 grand a year? How can we do that? And so they get sucked into these seminars and these grandiose ideas that don't work. They don't work. Now, if you want to make it your job, and you want to put that much time into it, you can learn enough to be a flipper and you can be an investor.
You got to be able to quit your other job.
You got to
have money to live on.
Or put a lot of time into it.
And I know some people do it. And the thing that doesn't make me feel good about it is usually what they're doing is there's a distressed property, there's a distressed homeowner. I want to help that guy and say, hey, here's the real price. The guy that's coming to you saying, knocking on your door and saying, sir, I'll solve all your problems. I'm going to give you 150 for your property when it might sell for $190 on the open market.
Sure.
Even if it's in bad shape. So I have fiduciary duty to my sellers. I want them to get top dollar. So that's why I don't think I bought one of my sellers listings one time, but he was happy with the price. And I went over it with him. He'd been on the market for several months. I'm like, he's okay. That's a fair price.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to watch. That's the thing. The guy texting you that, hey, by the way, do you want to sell 123, Jones Street?
Oh, I get those calls every day.
And it's just, those are the people, they're bottom feeders. There might be a call center in Pakistan, but it's somebody that will not give you an offer. Who's going to give you an offer sight unseen on a home? They'll give you one, but then once they come and vet, they'll send their contractor.
Even these big companies that are buying these, I hear people talk about the Mark, what's his name, and the Open, what's their name, and all these. You know what? By the time it's all said and done, you are not getting, these are hedge fund owns. You do realize that these are owned by hedge funds. Hedge funds are not a charity. They are in business to make money. And when you people call me, I hear from you all the time. Well, I don't know. I might just go to that, that quickie sale thing. They'll pay me cash and no inspections. But they're going to rip you off. It's like a client accepting a cash offer over a mortgage offer that the cash offer is 15% less. 15% less is $15,000 per $100,000. You got a $500,000 house. Give me a break. You just cut your profits by 60 grand because you wanted to take a cash deal over a guy's mortgage.
Kind of like that's, I think it's worse than an auction.
It's
At an
like
auction, might have people fighting over it to pay you.
that's another thing we can
bottom
talk
dollar.
about one day. I'm going to tell you, if you are not an experienced investor, do not do an auction.
Yeah.
You're going to pay the auctioneer. You're going to pay fees on it, and it's not what you think it
I just went
is.
to a property to do a market analysis, and they were telling me the house next door. I walked outside; it was burned. It was burned to the ground, Bruce. And I said, "Oh yeah, a nice family just pulled in from Arkansas. They bought that at auction. They had no idea that it was trash and burned down like that. Didn't look at it. I don't know if the Google Earth photo wasn't up to date, but they obviously made a mistake. So they were heartbroken. They put their savings into that. But anyway, I want Bruce right now. How are the rates doing? We still floating in the six?
Your average fixed rate's running around 6 3/4,
Okay.
6.8 right
And we've
now,
been
but
there
it's
for a
dropped.
while.
I locked a couple people in less than 6.5% this week.
Okay, that's unusual. That's good.
That's
news
a
over the
new.
past
That's
2 months.
we're trending better
right
rates
way.
right now.
And what do you see people having the hardest time doing? Is it saving the down payment, or is it getting their credit score?
It's a little different. I think that if you down payment to me shouldn't be your biggest issue. Down payment, because there's other options for down payment. I mean, I have 100% financing. I've got FHA, no money down. It's a specialty program. We've got programs to help people with down payment. The dilemma I think that a lot of people have is affordability, to where maybe their debt ratio is a little bit too high, or they had to fix something on a credit report that to help them get qualified. But those things are not that challenging. I think most of the problems that people have are surmountable, provided they're willing to put a little effort into it.
Yeah.
Right. But if you put a little effort into it, and I will pour into somebody and help them, provided I see they want to help themselves. But when I'm helping them and I'm like, you are not doing what I tell you to do, then why? Well, you're wasting my time and you're wasting your own. You don't want to buy.
Well, it's funny. It's like you talk to somebody and tell them, all right, save your money, pay this off, don't have debt, don't run your credit cards up. And then they get on your website. You say, we're only qualified to 400. And they're like, I need something for 500. Well, then they got to listen to you, and you'll help them do that and get their credit score up, right?
You have no idea how many times I have a client right now. Bless her. I love her. And her mom was a realtor. I've known her for 30 years. I have refinanced her at least 3 times to pay off debt. And she just called me again this week and said, I need money. I ran into some trouble. I got it. I need another 45,000. I'm like, oh my God, you can't just keep doing this. It's just crazy. So now she overcharged and then made a late payment. So now I can't even fix her on that unless I do hard money. And
handling money is a skill, and it's not taught in high school.
It's not.
You need a guru, Dave Ramsey, to listen to. Follow us. Do it. We'll tell you what to do. We've made all the mistakes. I can't tell you how many Mustangs I had 600 horsepower growing up before I got my first home.
So true.
I can tell you all the credit cards I ran up in my 20s until I finally bought a house and realized, okay, this is the way to get rich. So
we are all about get rich slow. I can show you how you could accumulate $4 to $5 million in 20 years. Now that's slow, but that's a lot of money, but you have to follow the path. And that's what we teach in our Leapfrog class. You just have to be in a position to do it. If you are in your 20s or 30s, you are primed to do it. We can show you how to do it simply. If you are in your 40s, 50s, it's going to take a little bit more effort for you because you don't have the time on your side. So, hey, give out your phone number.
407-352-8118 for Loveland Properties. Bruce, real quick, 5 softest markets, the most listings up over last year. 2 of them in Florida. We talk about sellers giving costs. We got Phoenix, Tampa, Denver, Austin, and Jacksonville.
How about
Austin, Texas. So 2 of those markets, but it's a great time to buy. Call us.
Yeah. And listen, the Loner Ranger and Cleve Loveland are right here to help you. You can reach the Loner Ranger, Bruce Woodburn, now at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144. Let's get the process started. Let me help you get into a house. It's not too late. There's always an opportunity for you. If you have a friend or family member that's renting or having a baby or getting married, needs to buy a home, then call the Loner Ranger. I can help you. Go to WeBringYouHome.com. Cleve and I will be back in 5 minutes. We got a lot more to share with you, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 5.